What if a game didn't just challenge your skills, but also made you reflect on the choices that define you? I didn't know it at the time, but when I first started this game, I had stepped into something unique, a journey unlike any other I had experienced before. Something vast, overwhelming. The world offered no clear direction, no guiding hand, only uncertainty and the distant glow of the Erd tree on the horizon. And yet, I couldn't shake a feeling of familiarity that permeated my wanderings through the lands between. Elden Ring is more than just a game. As a lowly tarnished, from shaky beginnings to an inevitable end, Elden Ring mirrors life's journey, where hardship fosters growth, choices shape identity, and every step forward carries the weight of who we've become. From the aimless uncertainty of youth to the inevitability of our final chapter, this is Elden Ring, the journey of a lifetime. Before you even have the opportunity to set foot in the lands between, you are faced with an important decision. Who are you going to be? What class will you pick? Which starting item? Does this sound familiar? What do you want to be when you grow up? Are you going to college? What will you study? How do you plan to make money? Are you sure that's the right path? You are faced with decisions that will impact the first years of your life with frighteningly little context. You cannot make informed choices because you have minimal experience to refer to. What worked for someone else may not work for you. Yet these early choices, as important as they seem, do not dictate your entire journey. It's no accident that the player wakes up in the Chapel of Anticipation. That is where many find themselves in adolescence, full of dreams, goals, optimism, and anticipation for what the wide world has to offer. You may have some notion of what to expect, perhaps even having played previous From Software titles, but this isn't high school, and it isn't Dark Souls. This is something vast, new, exciting, and a bit terrifying. The first enemy you encounter, the Grafted Scion, is meant to kill you, to teach you that failure is a vital part of the journey. It is a brutal introduction to the lands between, much like the first time you are thrust into the adult world and realize that, despite all your preparation, you still don't have all the answers. You wake up in the stranded graveyard where you're given a choice: descend into the cave of knowledge and learn the fundamentals, or step straight into the unknown. If you choose to listen, to learn from mentors and those with experience, you may enter adulthood with a more nuanced understanding of the world. If not, if you skip the lessons and charge on ahead, you may find yourself stumbling, struggling through hardships you might have been prepared for had you taken the time to listen. And then, after those first few steps, you are met with the beauty of Limgrave. A vast open world bathed in golden light. Here, everything feels possible. The rolling hills, the promise of adventure. For a moment, it seems welcoming, maybe even forgiving. But Limgrave is not as kind as it appears. That tree sentinel in the distance, a harsh reminder that just because the world is open to you does not mean it's ready to embrace you. Limgrave is a tutorial, but it does not hold your hand. It tempts you to explore, to push forward, while punishing overconfidence at every turn. This is the illusion of early adulthood. The moment where you think, "I've got this," only to be blindsided by reality. And soon, you realize this world does not care about your expectations. The warmth of Limgrave gives way to storms, swamps, and battlefields littered with the remnants of those who came before you. There is no script, no predetermined path to success. Much like life, Elden Ring does not reward you for simply existing within it. It demands something from you: effort, resilience, the willingness to learn from failure, because no matter which path you take, hardship will come. The question is, how will you face it?
Foul tarnished, in search of the Elden Ring, emboldened by the flame of ambition. Someone must extinguish thy flame. Let it be Margit the Fell.
Margit the Fell Omen is a swift reminder of when life first punched you in the teeth. He isn't just difficult, he's demoralizing. Initially, he is an insurmountable obstacle. Many of the tactics you've relied on up to this point, especially spamming the dodge button, do not work here. Everything you try seems to get you killed. Again, and again, and again.
Put these foolish ambitions to rest.
This phrase feels like he is addressing you, the player, taunting you to walk away, to throw up your hands and admit defeat. In the end, you are left with three options. First, you can take his words to heart. When difficulty arises, it can be easy to doubt yourself, a struggle that can permeate your whole existence if you let it. You can take a good long look at the obstacles standing in your way, set down your controller, and give up. Second, you can recognize that this too is a valuable lesson. You can take these failures as an indication that you are heading in the wrong direction, at least for the moment. Gathering yourself and moving on to something you are better prepared to face, or at least that will better prepare you to handle this situation in the future, is never a bad call. Chances are you haven't explored all of Limgrave yet, or all that life has to offer. If you feel like you have, well, there's still the Weeping Peninsula. If you're observant, you could reach Liurnia. If you're a masochist, you could even tackle Caelid. But all of these will culminate in runes gathered, weapons discovered, spells learned, and most importantly, experience gained. Taking a break from Margit is fine. Next time, you will be ready. Lastly, you can recognize that this insurmountable boss has patterns, weaknesses you can exploit. You can conquer this hardship through perseverance and adaptation. Failure is not the end, it is the beginning. If we pay attention, each defeat can teach us something new. Losing 100 times to the same boss sounds horrible in a vacuum, but 100 lessons learned? That is valuable. If we take these last two responses, taking a break to learn in other ways, and learning by doing, failing, and persevering, we find that each defeat, each hardship can reveal something new. Life itself mirrors this through the struggles that force us to learn and grow. Many players quit at Margit, just as many give up on difficult endeavors in life. Only by continuing to press ahead do we ever truly progress. The rune system in Elden Ring is unique, representing both currency and experience points for your character. Losing all your runes in frequent character deaths can feel devastating. Hours of progress seemingly wiped away in an instant. But is it really gone? The truth is, while this game punishes reckless mistakes, it never truly takes everything from you. The experience you gained, the muscle memory you developed, the strategies you refined, all of that remains, even if the numbers on your screen might say otherwise. Life setbacks often feel the same way. Losing a job, failing an exam, or watching a dream slip through your fingers can seem like an irreversible loss. But just like in Elden Ring, failure does not erase the lessons learned along the way. The knowledge, resilience, and skills you gained through the struggles stay with you, even when the rewards seem momentarily out of reach. Growth is rarely visible in the moment, but keep pushing forward, and eventually you'll realize just how far you've come. Death and runes in Elden Ring also illustrate the importance of reclaiming what is lost. Just as there are chances to recover your dropped runes, so too can real-life failures present opportunities for redemption and recovery. This game rewards perseverance. Much like life, consistent effort leads to tangible growth, whether in stats, skills, or your own personal development. In that moment, a setback can feel like a total loss, but growth is rarely linear. Each failure, each mistake, each lesson learned is an unseen investment in the future version of yourself, the one who eventually overcomes what once seemed impossible. Not all struggles in life are thrust upon us. Some we seek out, drawn to challenge for the sake of proving something to ourselves. Nowhere is this more evident than in the battle against Malenia, Blade of Mikola. Unlike Margit, who stands as a roadblock to progression, Malenia is hidden deep within the Halig tree, an area itself difficult to find. She is entirely optional, not required to complete the game, yet countless players choose to face her nonetheless. The echoes of the Margit fight resonate here, but magnified tenfold. Malenia's swift, relentless attacks demand mastery of mechanics learned throughout the game. She punishes hesitation, forcing players to refine their skills, adapt, and push beyond their limits. This is hardship at its purest, self-imposed, grueling, and yet deeply rewarding. The rewards for defeating Malenia are both literal and intangible. In-game, players receive her Great Rune and the ability to wield her legendary Hand of Malenia. But the true value is the sense of achievement, the knowledge that one has conquered one of the game's greatest challenges. It's the same satisfaction found in real-life pursuits, whether climbing a mountain, mastering a craft, or pushing past self-imposed barriers. We do not always seek the easiest road, for sometimes the struggle itself is the prize. From limgrave to the mountaintops, through golden cities and rotting wastelands, Elden Ring allows you to carve your own path. No two players have the same exact experience. Some will rush to Stormvale Castle, others will wander. Some will seek power, others will test their limits with minimal resources. The beauty of Elden Ring lies in its openness, its refusal to dictate a singular route to victory. Every Tarnished approaches the game differently. Some wield massive greatswords, relying on sheer strength to cleave through their adversaries, while others favor intelligence, using sorcery to assail foes from afar. Some embrace faith, drawing power from devotion, while others trust only in their dexterity and skill. These builds reflect real-world identity and individuality. People develop different strengths and approaches to overcoming life's challenges, whether through intellect, resilience, or faith in something greater than themselves. And yet, change is always possible. Elden Ring allows players to respec, reallocating their stats to adapt to new playstyles. This mirrors the real-world journey of self-reinvention. Just as a warrior may choose to become a scholar, so too can people reinvent themselves when past choices no longer serve them. Growth is not only inevitable, it is necessary. Our actions impact others in ways that we may not foresee. Life is not a solitary endeavor, and neither is the journey through the lands between. Along the way, we encounter mentors, allies, and rivals, each leaving their mark on our path. Rani, the enigmatic lunar princess, offers a destiny entwined with cosmic mystery, while Melina serves as a steadfast companion, urging us towards purpose. Alexander, the great warrior Jar, inspires perseverance in the face of adversity. These figures reflect the real-world relationships that guide and challenge us, from the mentors that shape our growth to the friends who walk beside us. However, not everyone we meet has good intentions. Patches, ever the trickster, reminds us to be wary of deception, while Celavis, with his sinister schemes, exemplifies manipulation and selfish ambition. Just as in life, not everyone is trustworthy, and learning whom to rely on is a crucial skill. Some NPCs thrive because of our kindness. Roderica finds her purpose as a spirit tuner. Bach gains newfound confidence. Others are left to their fates, illustrating that our choices extend beyond ourselves and shape the world around us. In the end, who do we choose to lift up, to walk alongside, and who do we leave behind? No matter which path we take, no matter how we choose to grow, all roads in the lands between lead to an inevitable conclusion. Whether through fire, betrayal, or ascension, every tarnished must face the final choice. Just as in life, where every journey ultimately meets its end, Elden Ring forces us to reckon with the nature of endings. The question is not whether the journey ends, but how we choose to face it. From the moment players step into the lands between, the Erd Tree looms over them, a radiant beacon of purpose, yet also an inescapable fate. It represents destiny, order, and tradition, guiding some while suffocating others. Some tarnished seek to restore its golden glory, while others wish to burn it down and forge a new path. This reminds me of the views individuals take to their own purpose in their own lives. Some cling to established beliefs and traditions, while others seek to dismantle and redefine them, and yet others search for a path in between, creating something that can marry the values of the old with the perspective of the new. However, purpose is rarely simple, and neither is the Erd Tree. It is both a guiding light and an imposing monolith, offering hope while also enforcing a rigid structure upon the world. Some find solace in its glow, while others feel trapped beneath its boughs, struggling against the weight of predestination. The struggle to define one's own path in the face of overwhelming destiny is a conflict that lies at the heart of the Tarnished's journey, much like the search for meaning in life itself. As players reach the end of their journey, they find Leyndell reduced to ash, an entire city smothered in the consequences of their actions. Whether intended or not, the choices made throughout the game shape the world's final state. This serves as a stark reminder that even well-intentioned pursuits can lead to unforeseen devastation, a reflection of the way our decisions, no matter how noble, can carry weight beyond our own understanding. Regardless of the individual path taken, every Tarnished must make a final decision. Elden Ring offers multiple endings, each reflecting a different personal philosophy. Some seek to repair what was broken, choosing the Age of Fracture to maintain the world's traditions. Some prefer to enforce the historic status quo, restricting all in the name of the Age of Order. Others accept that all things must fade, embracing the Age of the Duskborn, where death is no longer feared but understood as part of the cycle. For those who embrace chaos, The Lord of Frenzied Flame ending offers total destruction, a rejection of order in favor of unrestrained ruin. And for those who wish to forge something anew, the Age of Stars offers escape and reinvention, a path untethered from the Erd Tree's influence. And also there's the Dung Eater ending. Not my choice, but you do you. But what does it mean to truly succeed? Some would argue that power is the ultimate reward, while others seek peace, knowledge, or simple freedom. The multiple endings of Elden Ring illustrate that success and failure are subjective. Each choice defines the legacy the Tarnished leaves behind, just as in our lives, where every person must determine what they wish to leave in their wake. In the end, Elden Ring doesn't tell us which path is right. It merely presents the choices and asks, what kind of journey will you take? And when the end comes, what legacy will you leave behind? Elden Ring, like life, is defined by the choices made along the way. While I have spent this time drawing metaphor and allegory between this game and reality, at its core, Elden Ring is just that. A game. Your life is not. Your story does not end with a throne and a mending rune. All our stories share the same final chapter. They end. But the meaning of that story, what you build, who you become, and what you leave behind is yours to decide. There is no singular path through the maze of life, no predetermined destiny beyond the one you carve for yourself. The chapters of your past are already written, unchangeable, and you know how the story ends. But the pages between now and that final breath, they are still blank. What will you leave behind? Who will you become? Your next chapter has already begun. So where does your story go from here?